The big transformation that's happening to us today, the biggest single change in the history of this 130-year-old company, is that we are becoming the world's largest digital industrial company. I'm going to explain to you briefly how we're doing this today, why we're doing it, what it means, and talk a little bit about the transformation we've had to go through and what the future brings for us as a company. So, take a look around us. We see it everywhere. Software is impacting everything we do. We see, I think this is a rather interesting paradox, that the world's largest supplier of accommodation doesn't actually own any real estate. The world's largest consumer hardware company develops very few of its own apps. We have other consumer platforms. For example, some of you will leave here today and you will go back to your office, your home, or wherever in a company that's the world's largest taxi company that doesn't actually own any vehicles. It is a bit of a strange paradox. The great difference between those companies and ours is that we are a hardware company, we have technology, we have industrial equipment. But these are consumer products. What we're talking about in GE is very much around what we call the industrial internet. So digital industrial is in full force. We are beginning to see how machines that directly impact consumers, machines, are beginning to become digitally connected. We estimate that by 2020, there will be 50 billion machines in the world connected globally. This makes the industrial internet the fastest growing internet that's new, that is going to be impactful. It's going to remove boundaries. The Navigant Research issued some research saying that the worldwide installed base of smart meters will grow from 313 million in 2013 to nearly 1.1 billion by 2022. That's an enormous growth. By 2020, there will be over 100 million internet-connected wireless light bulbs worldwide, up from 2.4 million in 2013. That's an enormous growth. So this is a transformational change, and it's a transformational change that every industrial company is going to have to embrace and understand, and they're going to have to become digital and get on board. While many companies have already built a strong tech foundation, continued investment in the traditional way is simply not going to be enough. It's not going to guarantee an organization will benefit from this huge transformation that's going on. Industrial companies need to think about the cloud, about big data, about mobile data, about digital platforms, and importantly, think about people and talent differently. To embrace all of this means we have to change and acquire capabilities to digitize our data generation, data analysis, database decision-making, machine-to-machine collaboration, as well as, importantly, human collaboration. Only a few companies really are at a stage today where they have the digital maturity, not only to build innovations, but also the ability to drive enterprise-wide innovation. Capgemini and MIT undertook a study recently. They found that 87% of companies feel digital transformation is a competitive opportunity, but that 90% of the companies lack the required digital skills. There lies the challenge. Digital maturity is a combination of two separate but related things. First of all, there's digital intensity, investment in technology-enabled initiatives to change how the company operates and how we actually look at the different business models we have. So, real-time monitoring of operations and assets and products that are connected. Secondly is the transformation of management intensity, creating the leadership capabilities necessary to drive digital transformation within an organization where we have to manage what is, I would call, cross-silo coordination, working across boundaries, evolving and changing the culture of an organization. And I'm going to come back and talk about this, because this is a fundamental change that we are going through to ensure that we understand and embrace this. So, by 2015, Gartner have reported that they think 25% of all companies will have a chief digital officer, a CDO, on the board at an executive level. We have appointed a number of very, very senior people to our company to sit on the boards of the main P&Ls to fulfill this position. And today, we have 30,000 people aligned to support our GE Digital mission. So you can see, if you look at this chart, that by 2020, the industrial internet is a market that's going to be worth $225 billion. That's 5 years from now. We have the consumer internet on the left. We have the enterprise internet in the middle. But on the right-hand side, this is our estimate of the value of the industrial internet. As soon as industry experiences this technological revolution, they're going to be able to get on board and get the financial benefits that are driven through the embracing of the industrial internet. And I would also just ask you to note one thing on this page, which I think is also critical, and it is critical to our journey, and that's on the left-hand side. Our G-Digital platform is an internet platform whereby we have created an operating system called Predix, and I'll talk a little bit about this in a minute. But what's important is that we have designed and issued and created a platform that is going to enable anybody to design applications that are useful for whoever has got the platform. And it's not just a platform for our machines, it is a platform that can access data and analyze data from anybody's machines that are using the system. So the digital transformation requires us to rethink how we operate. I mentioned new business models. This is going to drive new business models, not just a better wind turbine, but a digital wind farm. The new platform which digitally connects, for example, small-scale power gen, LED lighting, batteries, solar, vehicle charging points within a microgrid, a game changer for parts of the world that are not connected to a national grid transformation. This is something that is going to ensure that we deliver an operating system and is going to make changes in the world where they need this sort of technology. Speed is absolutely critical. The aggregation of vast amounts of data on the cloud that can be analyzed in seconds to find patterns and correlations and available to a wider audience, the creation of apps. Think about clinicians across the world accessing cloud-based records to accelerate diagnosis. The outcomes of the industrial internet are going to be significant. We think that for us as a company this year, we're going to generate $6 billion of revenue, and this will grow in the next few years. We expect that new products and partnerships will generate a $15 billion software business for us by 2020. This will drive greater efficiencies and increase our own productivity. We think this could equate to $94 billion of savings. But most importantly, for customers, for partners, for industry, the outcomes include increased productivity, faster time to market, lower costs, scale, and security. And for society, we're an infrastructure company. This is about better outcomes for people, cleaner energy, better healthcare, more efficient travel, sustainable water distribution, and a world that runs more safely and efficiently. So as we look at our company, this is the transformation that we're seeing. And the 5 key changes you see on the right are those we need to drive through our company to make sure this happens. I mentioned a bit earlier, I'd like to focus a little now on culture. How are we changing our company culture? We started our digital transformation 5 years ago, and this was a time when we were coming through the financial crisis. We're still a highly regulated company. We found our culture was too complicated to get things done that we needed to be done to digitize and work in a highly regulated world. So at the same time, as a company, we were expanding rapidly globally. At the time of the financial crash, we were 70% inside the US. We're now 70% outside the US. So what we've had to do is drive a culture of simplification across GE. Fewer layers, fewer processes, fewer decision points. We've adapted lean tools that we've learned from what we call a Silicon Valley approach. We call this FastWorks. We've had to democratize data in the company. We've democratized information in the company. We have started to behave like a digital company, not like a big, gigantic industrial company. No more annual this, no more annual that, no more performance reviews. It is a continual process that is exactly the same as how a digital company would operate. So, we've taken the internal operations of our company and turned those into the thinking and operation of how we think digital should apply. And we're doing this throughout our own company, and we're doing it with our customers, and we're doing it with our processes. So what do we want? We want better outcomes for customers. We want better fuel management for aviation, digital wind farms and smart power stations, In oil and gas, we now have BP doing on-time digital monitoring of 650 wells worldwide to optimize production. We heard from Mark Carney earlier, we're doing it with rail. I read an interesting piece the other day that with Norfolk Southern, they have a certain metric which is about their speed. And this is the speed of carrying freight across North America. A 1 mile an hour increase in efficiency in rate for Norfolk Southern in the US is a $250 million profit. So these are huge changes where the power of 1% change is going to make a significant difference to the efficiency. Let's look at a quick example. So, intelligent environments. This is about providing an intelligent environment for cities. This platform, for example, uses LED street lighting and wireless sensors to connect, collect, and analyze data. It harnesses the power of the industrial internet to enhance quality of life for city residents and visitors. The intelligent LED systems are a gateway to city-changing technology, with sensors, controls, wireless transmitters, microprocessors built within the LED system. What you get with the light is simply the side effect. The real heart of this is what the fixture does. So we power this with our Predix platform, the software platform that we've designed for the industrial internet. And what this can do is it can connect, collect, analyze data generated right across the city, all in one go. The home sensors, the mobile devices, the wearables, what's going on in buildings, it's all being collected and used, and sometimes often used by the city. And what this does is helps cities develop more intelligent urban landscapes, more personal shopping experiences, which is what Dubai clearly wants, more convenient home living for those who are there. What's the outcome? Greater asset reliability, lower operating cost, reduced risk, better growth for the company and all those operating with it, for the city and those operating within it. And this is about, it's a very simple example, but it's a consumer-facing example. We're bringing together brilliant machines, data, insights, people. That drives real-time connectivity and data intelligence through what we call the digital thread. And let's look a bit more at the heavy end. This is a view of a very large power plant. This is what we call our digital power plant. This is a new industrial internet solution that will enable utilities and customers around the world to apply software analytics and artificial intelligence to the crucial task of generating and analyzing electricity. The digital power plant will provide the ability to analyze and optimize performance of each individual critical asset to analyze and optimize performance. This enables the operators to make faster decisions about the availability and the dispatching of the plant's power. Why are we doing this? Global demand for electricity is going to grow 30% over the next decade, with emerging markets growing 4 times faster than developed markets. So the ability to digitize the machines and infrastructure that deliver the power is the only scenario that allows us to meet the demand in a manner that keeps our focus on the decarbonization of energy resources, the integration of renewables like solar and wind, and the management of the evolving demand patterns and costs of productivity of producing electricity. So, and what I would ask you to look at here, and we see it at the top, is this concept of what we call the digital twin. The digital twin is the creation of a digital power plant that is drawn from our leveraging over 100 million hours of power plant data that we can take from different operating environments, different countries, different latitudes, different fuel sources, that enables us to create a digital twin of the power plant that our customer is operating. That data and the history of the data that we gather from those 100 million hours of power plant operation enables us to look forward and predict, using analytical tools, what are going to be key moments in the performance of the plant and to optimize its operation. Services transformation. This is critical. We are not just developing big data for the sake of it. We're about helping customers turn data into useful information, into intelligence, things that can, as I've said, help them make better decisions and help them save money. I talked a little bit about the power of one, what we call, it's the 1% saving through efficiency through using data. Saving 1% for BP, for example, or oil and gas companies, and I'll put some European data numbers here. 1% saving in exploration and production in Europe can be valued at 7 billion euros over 15 years. A 1% saving in gas-fired power generation represents 11 billion euros over the next 15 years in terms of fuel savings. And 1% saving on capital expenditure in the rail sector would equate to a saving of 4.5 billion over 15 years. So this is a 1% efficiency drive, just a 1%. And as you can see, that will translate into larger numbers as we go forward. What lies at the heart of this? What lies at the heart of this for us is the Predix cloud. This is the cloud that is accelerating the digital transformation for GE. Cloud computing has paved the way for incredible innovation for the consumer and the enterprise internet. Industrial strength data and industrial applications demand an industrial strength cloud. The Predix cloud is digitizing and connecting machines in a way that current systems cannot do. And this enables systems and customers to connect globally, and we look and see how this is going to be supported by many, many companies coming on board. So we've got a century of deep expertise in how to run equipment in industries like aviation, oil and gas, and transportation. The Predix cloud is the only cloud-based, cloud purpose-built for the unique strength, scale, and security needed for industrial applications. And this is what we think is going to unlock the industrial app economy. We're shifting to a self-service developer model where innovation, technology, and leadership will thrive. Platforms and applications are key components of the model. It's going to eliminate the barriers of entry to developers, making it easier for them to build, test, and deploy industrial applications in the cloud, paving the way for entirely new innovations across the industrial internet. And we've just recently launched Predix.io. I recommend all of you to go and have a look, Predix.io. This is a dedicated cloud environment for app developers to build new apps and services for big industry. Predix.io will also launch its own app store where we will have 6,000 apps at launch. More than 4,000 developers from GE and from customers of ours like Boeing, ConocoPhillips, Rasgas, and others are currently building apps on the Predix.io platform. We expect 20,000 developers will be building on our platform next year. So digital innovation is not about owning it all yourself. We have to make it open and available to those young people and older people and anybody who thinks they can design something that will be useful to help those who use the application. I won't pause too long on this because I'm conscious of time. This just gives you a quick optic of what Predix actually does and talks about some of those customers we're working with. The key issue is about it being open to aggregating data, not only from our own machines, but from those machines of our competitors. Customers are not going to just have GE equipment. They're going to have equipment from many, many, many suppliers. And this enables the data from all of those to be aggregated and for those people who develop apps to drive the types of products and the types of applications that the customers need to help them drive efficiency for their particular operation. I mentioned a little bit earlier about what we call the digital thread. This is what I call an inside-out strategy. It's not just about ensuring that how we support and serve our customers through our technology, that we're embracing digital. It's about how we push digital back through the company. We want to make sure that we create our own company and develop our own company on the same basis. We want to build a fully connected digital thread that connects all parts of the manufacturing process, from product design, from engineering, to the factory floor, to the supply chain, to partners, and to service operations. So the next generation is going to require ensuring that we've got this connectivity all the way through. Enhanced manufacturing analytics, for example, they reduce production losses, improve quality, ensure efficient use of people, materials, and manage production execution for flexibility, repeatability, and connectability. It's important to mention briefly security. This is absolutely critical. If there are going to be 50 billion machines connected by 2020, we need to ensure that cybersecurity is absolutely key and at the heart of the industrial cloud and the industrial internet as we develop it going forward. At every level, software, machine, cloud, networking, wireless services, for us, security is an absolutely top priority. We need to make sure that we have safe practices in machine-to-machine connectivity. Our approach to industrial cybersecurity, there are three priorities we have. Updating and modernizing the security to protect the legacy systems. A lot of these machines have been collecting data for some time. Building new machines and systems with advanced security, and bridging the old and the new and transferring security from one layer to the next. What's key to this is an open innovation ecosystem. So I've talked about the development of apps. I've talked about how we see this developing in partnership with people who don't work for us. Open innovation is an absolutely key way that we as a company ensure that we plug into what we call the global brain. We ran an innovation competition for an additive manufacturing product for aircraft brackets to put aircraft engines on wings. It was won by a 22-year-old from Indonesia. We would never have found him, he would never have found us if we hadn't had an open innovation approach. And the Predict platform as a service helps anybody develop the apps that are going to be needed. They're going to be developed on the cloud infrastructure, they're going to connect the industrial machines, and they're going to help support better data and better data analytics. So what does this mean for us? This means that there's going to be an incredible prosperity in technology across the world. Global GDP is going to grow. We believe, through our analysis, that the industrial internet could add $15 trillion to GDP by 2030. We think that there will be productivity gains of $8.6 trillion for industrial companies, more than 2 times the future value of the consumer internet. Well beyond the Power in One, we actually think that this is going to produce potential 20% performance improvement across all industries. By pairing digital technology with the domain expertise across industries like aviation, energy, healthcare, and transportation, we've transformed ourselves into the world's leading digital industrial company, and we strongly encourage all other industrial companies to get on board.